Good evening, excuse me, good evening, everyone. Again, I'm James Clayton, Claudia's husband. Just had a couple of notes, and I'm in dad mode, so I have the small font on, so it's hard for me to kind of see. I really appreciate the opportunity to be here today. I think this is my first time publicly speaking about the loss of my wife, Claudia, so it's an honor and a privilege to be here. Claudia battled with bipolar depression, and we lost her to that, to bipolar depression. I want to give you a little bit of background around that day. I'm involved with CrossFit, and we have this workout called a Murph, and it's essentially, we have a weighted vest on, and you're running, push-ups, pull-ups, a bunch of things, right? So we were going to go on vacation for my birthday, May 31st, and that was going to be our first time together going out of the country together, right? So we were excited about this vacation we were going, but the reason I say about Murph is because Claudia didn't want me to do it with the vest on because it's really taxing on your body, and she didn't want me to be complaining the entire time we were on vacation. So we had this whole thing kind of leading up to it, and she was like, don't do it. I mean, she had people at the gym saying, hey, when you did it with the vest on, how did you feel? So just trying to persuade me not to do it. So I ended up doing it with the vest, and that day was like probably one of the most beautiful days that I can remember. Our whole family was together, my daughters, my dad was here from Rhode Island. We had an amazing time. We went to visit some friends at another gym that were doing it that we hadn't seen in a while. We got ice cream. I mean, it was just a really amazing day. Came back to the house, we all were talking. And then we noticed that Claudia had disappeared, and we went, the door was locked, and when we found her, she was not responsive. So we called the paramedics, got her to the hospital, and she was in a coma. She passed on May 30th, the day before we were about to go on our vacation, and May 31st was my birthday. Again, that's what was so special about it. And I share that to say that, when dealing with mental health issues, it can change in an instant, right, as we all know. And it's just so important that if you're in a position to support someone, understand them, give them grace, as well as give yourself grace, it's so important to that process, right? Probably several months later, we kind of going through everything, getting back to kind of touching life, right? And we all, meaning my daughters and my dad, we all said, hey, let's get back together. Let's kind of check in with each other. Let's just love on each other. And we went to the mountains. Before we went to the mountains, I have a couple of tattoos that I want to kind of talk about, but I have this right here, which are Claudia's final resting coordinates. All of my children, or our children, have them. I have an older daughter who wasn't with us when we got these, so she went and when she came down to go to the mountains with us, she was going to get them then. So we're in the mountains. We head out to go get the tattoos. I come upon this tattoo parlor, and I walk in. We try to find several of them. It's kind of hard just kind of walk into a tattoo place and get a tattoo. So we found one, and there was this lady in there, an older lady, and I was talking with her, just kind of waiting for my daughter, and she was saying, she's about to get out of this profession. It's a young people's profession. She just was kind of just going on. And then I let her know why I was there, and she told me it would be an honor for me to do a tattoo with your wife's name. So I have this tattoo on my arm here that says Claudia. mi amor, mi luz, which means my love, my light. And what was so amazing about it is this lady did it freehand, right? So normally they stencil it, and then they put it on, then they do it. And this lady did it freehand. And it's probably my most favorite tattoo. And it was just really an amazing experience. And what it showed me, I know that I have a long road ahead of me, but what it showed me in that moment was it's going to be all right. You're going to make it through it, no matter how hard it's going to be, because it's going to be tough, but you're going to be all right. So went back to the house in the mountains, and again, we just kind of loved on each other and enjoyed each other's company, supported each other. So I want to kind of touch on just a little bit of why I had that, my love, my light. So Claudia and I met, the my love part, Claudia and I met while we were attending college. And from the first time that I saw her, she was truly like a light. I was like, that, I mean, it was immediate love for me. It wasn't for her, but it was for me. But I said, that, I'm going to marry that woman. It was just something about her that just, I was immediately attracted to her. So after a while, and I finally wore her down, you know, we started dating, and we ended up having some kids together, and moving to North Carolina, and, you know, just starting our life, right, continuing our life. And during that time, you know, we kind of realized that some things, you know, we would have some type of, you know, struggles in our relationship, some things that I didn't know how to respond to, things that she didn't know how to respond to. So, you know, we just kind of chalked it up to just being in a relationship and just growing together. You know, we were young, getting older, we're kind of growing together and individually, right, as we all do. So I say that to say also that, you know, Claudia was, we're talking about courageous love. She's probably one of the, not probably, she is one of the strongest women that I've ever met in my life. Because when she realized that, you know, the way that she was thinking about things, some ideas and thoughts that she had, that she didn't really understand them, she went to get help and to work on, hey, I need to work on this. She also wanted to strengthen her relationship with God at that time as well. And what was so courageous about it is, you know, when you make those type of changes, you have to really, I think, kind of, I don't want to say cut ties, but really focus on yourself in those moments, right? So that you can really work on yourself to be the person that you want to be. And I had a conversation with her where we had one conversation, and she told me that the reason why she wanted to do that is because she wanted to be a better person so that she could be a better mother, a better sister, a better daughter, and a better friend. So even in her quest to figure out what was going on, she did it so that she could be a better person to the world, right? And be a helpful person, because that's who she was in nature. Definitely one, you know, she was just, and I get to the light part of it because she was a light, right? You hear the term, this person is a light, but she truly was a light. And not only was she a light, she shared her light, right? She gave us an opportunity to kind of see things the way that she saw them. She gave you an opportunity to see how special she was with her interaction with other people, her calling people and always checking on people. A fun fact about Claudia, like if she met you right now and you told her your birthday, you would get a call next year on your birthday and every day after that. I mean, that meant something to her. And that's just the type of person that she was. So that's why I say that she was my light. And, you know, as I'm on this journey now, you know, when you're in something, you don't really see it, but now I look back and I see all the amazing things that she did. You know, my kids, our kids, amazing. And I always have to say this when I say this about my kids, that they're just amazing souls, not because they're my kids, but because that's who they are, right? And I don't know why I have to qualify that, but I always have to qualify it because I don't want anyone to think that I'm saying that just to say it. It's important to me that I, let the world know that they are amazing souls, and that Claudia's light, shines through them as well today. So I think that's what's the importance of that for me, is that I see her light in my kids. So I want to kind of share just a couple of thoughts about, where I am in my journey, how I've been impacted and what I've been doing. I can tell you that, again, Claudia passed in 2019. I probably was in survival mode for at least 3 years and didn't even realize I was in survival mode, which was pretty profound to me to kind of figure that out, from the trauma, from the loss, from the heartache, heartbreak. And it's just like one day I woke up like, man, where have you been? Like, where have you been? And again, kind of reflecting back and just seeing back. As mentioned earlier, I'm a volunteer with icuTalks, probably over a year or so now. And this icuTalks was very special to Claudia. And it took me all of that time just to, I guess, gain the courage to say I want to be a part of it because it's so important. It was so important to her, and it's just really so important to me, and it's just so important to our community. And I mean, I can't say enough about it. Second thing that I would like to share is that that I will be in love with her until the end of time. And I say that, in my journey, I have like these thoughts just kind of pop in my head, right? I could just be walking down the street and it's like, you're going to be in love with her for the end of time. And what that means to me is, I think is like trying to reconcile everything, right? It's a moment of reconciliation for myself, for my mind, and saying that that's okay, right? It's okay. So I'm very happy with that thought. My next thing that I've learned on my journey is that it's a lifelong journey. Just like anyone who is battling with mental health issues, addiction, it's a lifelong journey. Like, you might get treatment, and that doesn't mean that, okay, I got 2 treatments, I'm good. Or, I stopped drinking for a year and I'm good. It's a lifelong journey. And I think that grief and trauma, definitely, you have to approach it like that to help get through it because it's tough, And I think that it sounds easy, but I can tell you when being in it, it's not easy. It's tough, and like I said, I was in like autopilot, and you don't even realize that you're in it. I know sometimes I may come home, go to my room, my daughters are in the house, and I just go to my room. I don't even know why I do it, but I just go to my room. I come back out and I'm saying, hey guys, sorry, I don't even know. And they're like, don't worry, Dad, we get it, we got you. So it's a lifelong journey, and I think the thing there is, first we have to, speaking about trauma and addiction, first we have to acknowledge what the issue is. We have to be able to acknowledge that there is an issue. I mean, it takes courage to do that. I can say that we all have challenges that we're facing in life. I think we all have mental issues that we're facing in life. But it takes courage to acknowledge anything that you may be challenged with or battling. Then I think it's important to figure out how do I manage that, right? So getting back to Claudia, we had tough conversations. We had conversations. We had safe words. We had, I had to when she was taking medication, I mean, it got to the point where I had to hide the medication. I had to administer the medication to her because she wouldn't take it, or she might take too much of it. So, you know, you have to find a way that works for everybody that's involved in the process. And then lastly is a support system. It's important, and I feel like I've been blessed, and I'm so grateful for the support system that I've had through this journey. I feel very fortunate, from my family to my daughters to my church community, gym community, work community. I just really had people that just loved on me and said it's going to be okay, and shared some experiences with me, and it meant the world to me. My daughter Jayla's here, and that's my biggest supporter, and don't know where I'd be today without her. So, and then my last thing I'd like to share is it's okay. You know, wherever you are in your journey, it's okay. You don't have to answer to anybody else. You're not on anyone else's timeline. You don't need anybody else's approval. I think you just need to be on your journey how you need to be on it. And I'm a true believer that, you know, God puts us where we need to be, and gives us, when I was first going through this, I also think back and I was saying, you know, I never thought, like, God, why me? Like, why did you do this to me, right? Because it wasn't about me in that. It's really not about me from that perspective. It's about, you know, me looking at it and saying, what am I learning, right? I mean, that's my perspective now, is what am I learning? Like, how can I help, you know? And I take all the lessons that Claudia taught me, and I can apply them to current situations. I can apply them to myself. I can honestly say that she made me a better man, better father, better friend, better son. So, you know, in that relationship we had, I mean, again, I go back to her being a light. I mean, she was a light to me as well. So I just think that it's important to understand that no matter where you are, it's okay. You'll be all right. Give yourself grace. It's tough. It's going to be tough. It'll be tough for the rest of my life while I'm on this earth, but I'm going to be okay. So I appreciate you all allowing me the opportunity to share. Again, I just want to touch on the race on October 14th. Would love to see you all coming out. It really is a great opportunity for us to all kind of get together, the community to get together, and just kind of celebrate Claudia, as well as celebrate each other, because that's what it's about. Again, back to that support, finding you a support system. So, again, thank you all very much. I appreciate it.